means a lot to us. My name is Srishti Shrestha. I will be your host and MC for this evening, and I'm truly honored to be your host for this spectacular celebration of fashion, culture, and creativity. Designers from the diverse background are here to showcase collections that reflect tradition, modernity, and the vibrant spirit of this very community and city. So let's get ready because the runway is set, the lights are on, and I see that every one of you seated here. I'm not sure who's running the runway, but to me it looks like the entire audience is ready to run the runway. We will begin the evening by land acknowledgement, and I would like to request Michael Opoli to please come on stage and do the honors of saying the land acknowledgement. Meanwhile, while Michael is making his way to the stage, let me request all of you, if you're snapping pictures or videos, I need not say if, I'm sure you all are, so please remember to use the hashtag Brampton Fashion Expo. So anybody who's taking a picture and video and putting up on the social media, let's use the hashtag Brampton Fashion Expo and let's show the world that Brampton is a fashion-forward city and is a very, very diverse community. Michael is here on stage, so I will let Michael do his thing and I'll be here with him.
I don't have a seat. I came here earlier with Krish. I just
Hi
don't
everyone.
I was originally sitting
Good
here, but
evening.
I don't have a seat to sit now.
I'm a media guy.
Okay. I'm
Thank
just
you
not
so
sure who
much.
to talk
My
to.
name is Michael.
I don't want to stand for the whole
I'm one
thing.
of the advisors here at the City of Brampton with the Equity Office. We acknowledge the land on which we gather today. We acknowledge that the land on which we gather today is part of the treaty and territories of the Mississaugas of the Credit. This area is historically inhabited by the Anishinaabe, the Huron-Wendat, and the Haudenosaunee, and mostly and recently the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. Brampton is situated within the Treaty 1818 and recognize that these lands are the traditional territory and the home to many First Nations. Also acknowledge the enduring presence and deep traditional knowledge of the First Nation, Inuit and the Métis people. And we are grateful to have the opportunity to live, work, and thrive on this land.
No, that's okay. You can go and sit.
Thank you so much, Michael. I think it is very important to begin with acknowledging the very land that we are standing on and be grateful for this opportunity that this very land has created for all of us. Thank you once again. Can you please give a round of applause for Michael? I think we can do better as an audience. The evening has just begun. We will need a lot of your energy throughout the evening. So now to begin with the inauguration, can I please kindly call on stage Mr. J. Kanthan and Gordon So, the founders of Landed for Success and the pillars behind today's event. Can we please have J. Kanthan and Gordon So on stage? These two wonderful gentlemen here.
Thank you, Srishti. Hi guys, like I said, my name is J. Kanthan. Thank you so much for coming to Brampton Fashion Expo. I wanted to invite our key team members and designers to the stage for this inaugural festival or our Fashion Expo. Ricky, I wanted to call Ricky to stage. Kushbu, Kaushi, Angelina, Beena, Sudha. Praveen, I want Praveena to be on stage. Archie and Purnima. This is very important for us to acknowledge the team who have worked tirelessly behind putting together this wonderful fashion expo. So, Michael, yes, Michael. Michael, please come to stage.
This here, right here on stage, we talk a lot about women empowerment. See here, two gentlemen standing with a group of beautiful, empowered, strong women right here on stage. Let's give a round of applause to this. Thank you, Michael, for joining and trying to balance the gender.
I'm missing Gaurav and Raghubir. Come to the stage, please. They are from our community ambassadors. Bear with us, guys. It's very important for us to acknowledge the team who's behind it, and then today you're in it for a treat. So the team has put a phenomenal event for you guys. What do you want to say?
Hey, how's everyone doing? Let's try that one more time. How's everyone doing? Is Nitin here as well, Nitin Chai? It's pretty incredible. There's so many people we need to thank, and we want to make sure we don't miss anybody, all right? But thank you everyone for being here. You guys are going to have an amazing time. Our designers, folks are going to be walking. Sabir, did we miss anybody? Surinder, Sabir. Man, we won't have a stage big enough, right, you guys? I'm going to pass this back to Jay. Have an amazing evening, you guys.
All right, guys, let's get this show started.
Let's please put a round of applause for the ribbon cutting for the first ever Brampton Fashion Expo. All you guys here in this hall are going to be a part of a history, and that is going to shine bright, and you are all going to be very proud that you were a part of this very moment here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let's give a little time to the beautiful ladies for all the beautiful couture that they're here with, so let's not hurry on that. Thank you so much, everyone. So now, officially, the evening has begun and we are ready to roll. Before we bring our first fashion walk, we wanted to give a slice of entertainment for all of you. And we have our beautiful team here ready to set the stage on fire and to give you a lot of entertainment. Our first performer for tonight are Sunshine Association of Performing Arts, Juan and Group. From culture to culture, we celebrate the beauty of diversity tonight. The Sunshine Association of Performing Arts has been performing across Ontario for over a decade, 10 years, and that's a long time to be consistently and very, very intentionally supporting art and culture. They are sharing joy, positivity through dance and song. This dance group is a non-profit organization with a mission to live a happy and healthy life and through dancing and singing. I love that motto that they carry. Their motto is, no matter how ordinary you are still a limited edition. How many of us believe that? Can we please give a round of applause to this beautiful motto? I would like to repeat it for anybody who did not hear it because it's very, very beautiful. No matter how ordinary you are still a limited edition. Whoever came up with that, that's amazing. Let's welcome Joan and the Sunshine Group. Please welcome on stage, and we are ready to see your performance. Thank you so much. You look so beautiful in that pink and white. Guys, can you please give a round of applause? Your applause and motivation will get their energy high. Thank you so much. guys were so full of energy. Can you please give a round of big applause for this amazing group? One, because they did so good. Two, because they were the first performers for this evening and they have already set the mood, set the tone for how the evening is going to look like. Thank you so much once again, Sunshine Group. That was an amazing dance. Now, after that, we are ready to set the tone for the day. We are ready for our first walk. This first walk is very, very special. When I first got to know that this group is going to walk here, it really moved me. Because this group is not just bringing some design for you, they are bringing a big message of saving the planet Earth and about not using plastic. But at the same time, not just that, this group is the group that's going to walk. We are going to see little kids who's going to do. So I think if they can carry this message, if they can understand how great the situation is, I think all of us sitting here can do our bit. So the next group is coming it's a children's walk by Color Happy, which is led by Swatika Anandan. It is called Wearable Art for a Planet in Distress. That's Beyond Canvas. Color Happy is an art studio that empowers children to express big ideas through bold, creative art, turning their arts into books, products, and wearable designs, taking it beyond the canvas. A little bit about today's collection. This collection transforms children's large-scale hand paintings into striking clothing prints, bringing awareness to how animals are dying and going extinct due to the plastic pollution in our waters and our lands. Each piece of art carries a powerful environmental message, blending youthful imagination with urgent activism. So what you're going to see tonight here on the stage is the kids who have created the art on the canvas. With the help of Swatika, their mentor, they have turned it into wearable design. So that is going to be a treat for the eyes. So please get ready to watch it and give a round of applause and let's welcome this group, Color Happy, for their design themed Beyond Canvas, Wearable Art for a Planet in Distress. Can you please give a round of applause for this young artist from Color Happy? Woo!
Plastic pollution is killing wildlife and devastating the ocean. Whales, turtles, and seabirds are choking on plastic. More than half of all sea turtles surveyed have ingested it. And it's expected that 99% of seabirds will have ingested it by 2050. And plastics will continue to flood into the oceans. We can't let this happen. The plastic industry produces more than 4 million tons of plastic waste in Canada every year. Over 90% ends up in the environment. Plastic pollution is deadly to wildlife, to the ocean, and to the planet. But it doesn't have to be this way. Over 90% of Canadians support action to reduce plastic pollution. The oceans and wildlife need our help right now to protect them from the dangers of plastic. Will you join us? Minimum alienation.
Thank you so much, Color Happy. Can you please give a round of applause to these young creators and their mentor, Swatika from Color Happy. Thank you so much, Swatika. I think this was a very eye-opening and something that created awareness for everyone sitting here. Thank you once again. Now next, in the world of fashion, and if we are anywhere in the GTA, Toronto, Brampton specifically, if we are interested in fashion, if you have been somebody who's been following fashion, I think the next name is not new to any of us. But if still any of us are not aware, I would like to welcome Label Blue by Khushbu for the next walk. For over 25 years, Label Blue has been synonymous with timeless craftsmanship and elegant formal wear. Specializing in formal wear, the brand blends classic elegance with modern design to create pieces that stand out in every occasion. With the focus on customization, Label Blue ensures each client gets personalized experience that reflects their unique style. This evening, the brand proudly showcases its latest collection at Brampton Fashion Expo, and it does not end just with that. Label Blue has taken a step forward and has collaborated with Yoga with Arunita to put up a voice for sustainable fashion. So Yoga with Arunita is a brand who's been around, who's been very, very active in the field of yoga and holistic health for almost last 19 years is what I hear. And Arunita, who runs Yoga with Arunita, is also here with us. And you will also see a few people who will be walking for the brand and voice out the sustainable wears for Label Blue. So let's give a round of applause for the collaboration of Label Blue and Yoga with Arunita.
Si el ritmo te lleva a mover la cabeza y empezamos como es. Mi música no discrimina a nadie, así que vamos a romper toda mi gente se mueve.
gorgeous, we need to speak up and say who we are. Thank you so much once again, Label Blue. Please let's have a round of applause for this amazing collection of formal wear by Label Blue and the yoga collection by Yoga with Arunita. Thank you so much. Now, next on, we have a designer who's come all the way from Niagara Falls. Yes, we do not only have the designers in and around Brampton or who are locally based, but also have designers coming all the way from different cities. That tells a lot about how the evening is going to look like right here at City Hall, Brampton. So our next designer is Archie Boutique, all the way from Niagara Falls. From the heart of Niagara Falls, Archie Boutique brings us a stunning collection of Indo-Western dresses. An effortless fusion of tradition and trend. Known for her versatility, Archie specializes in all types of customized designs, bringing together elegance, creativity, and a perfect fusion of styles. Can we please have a round of applause for these beautiful models from Archie Boutique, Niagara Falls. Thank you so much.
Keenan, who represents the downtown area of Brampton, and we just wanted to come and say the doors at City Hall are always open. Our rotunda is always available for events that celebrate talent and arts and culture, and this Brampton Fashion Expo is an example of that. I look around here and everyone looks beautiful, everyone looks radiant. And what I love about these fashion expos is that you get fashion from around the world. And Brampton is a reflection of the world, and this fashion expo does that in spades. And you even make City Hall look nicer. When I come in, I don't see light bulbs like that flashing. Maybe we'll have to add that to our council routine, right, Councilor Keenan? But I know the local councilor wanted to say a word of appreciation, and then we have some certificates from the city of Brampton we want to present. So over to Councilor Keenan.
Thank you, Mayor Brown, and thanks for having me here. It was funny because prior to coming, I phoned the mayor and said, what should I wear today? But looking around here, I don't think it mattered what I wore. I was going to be underdressed, but you all look fantastic. So, thank you so much for doing this here, and showcasing what Brampton has to offer. So thank you so much. I hope you enjoy everything today. Thank you.
So we have a certificate for landing for success, and I just want to say, I'm going to read this out for the city of Brampton. Your commitment to showcasing creativity, culture, entrepreneurship in the fashion industry highlights the vibrancy and talent within our community. The event not only celebrates style and innovation, but also strengthens Brampton's reputation as a hub for diversity, business, and artistic expression. So we commend you for this incredible night. I present this on behalf of the city of Brampton. Thank you so much. Enjoy the Expo today.
Thank you so much everyone for all the patience. We are right back now with the walk. Can we please request everyone to step on the stage so that the next performer or the next group who's going to walk is able to get your attention. Can we please have everybody seated?
Trying to connect that with history. Yeah, to see like what it's like. 'Cause I'm reading about it in the past, but to live it, it's so important.
I know we love taking pictures, but I am not going to start this unless I have everybody seated because I think that's the least we can do for the performers. Thank you so much.
I was in France, I was in Paris, and London, and May, and I saw some really beautiful dresses. Yeah, keep it here.
Next up, we have a very, very special segment. We have a walk by the team of Dr. Dentist from Brampton Dentistry. So the people who helped to put up a beautiful smile on your face are going to walk around with their beautiful smile. So this is a epic walk by Dr. Surya and team from Brampton Dentistry, right now to Brampton. Can we please have Deepshika on stage on the slides of
I can take a picture. That's nothing. You just have to blend it into. Take a picture.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ricky. Thank you, Deepshika. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for being once again. Now, next up, can we please have Honorable VP
Take a full picture.
Apologies, I think there was some confusion backstage. I'm back here and now we will continue with the fashion show. The runway is waiting and all of you guys are too, I know that. So next up we have Mirror Icon by none other than Ricky Madan, who is also the executive director of the Brampton Fashion Expo. Let's get ready to be captivated by elegance and charm, presenting the exclusive line of evening dresses by Mirror Icon, a perfect blend of sophistication, glamour, and modern style. Each gown is designed to make every woman feel like the true star of the evening, and one such woman is standing right here on stage because today I'm wearing the design by Mirror Icon by Ricky Madan. So the gown that I'm wearing is also designed by Ricky Madan from Mirror Icon. Let's have the entire team on runway. So it is Mirror Icon by Ricky Madan for all of you here.
Excuse me. Hey.
Please put your hands together to welcome Beats
Tell 'em to
on
try.
Beats. Beats on Beats for all of you there.
3, 2, 1.
Woo!
Brampton.